My goodness, that's huge. I mean, and even the what do you call the land? I mean, it's not situated in kind of a valley kind of a topography where
Yes.
everything is just difficult even for construction and all that. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, you
You won't
have
believe
such
the
a
complete building was built in 10 months.
for real
Yes.
10 months.
Yeah. It's like 24 hours the workers have been working there.
And that's pre-COVID, right?
Yes. From pre-COVID to post-COVID.
post-COVID.
It's just done.
Oh my.
Within 10 months, the complete building was ready. And the structural infrastructure, whatever we had to...
The interior and everything.
Yeah, everything. Plugging in the academic toys or anything. It was all done within 1 year. So by 2 years, everything was ready.
My goodness. I mean, I know of friends and families who own a school who actually took like almost 2 to 3 decades just to set up a school.
Yes.
That too, just primary, I mean, to a certain extent, secondary level.
Yes.
But my goodness, in 10
The
months.
chairman, he's a dynamic man. If he takes up a project, he'll not sleep. He has to finish it.
My goodness. I mean,
I have learned a lot from him.
where was the school when I was a kid?
That should be a punchline. Okay.
I mean, I would love to know
Hope
more.
your kids study in our school.
Yeah, hopefully so. Now I'll get to know more from you. Then we'll make a decision.
Yes.
You can put that on.
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Allow me to speak in Khasi. Kulishibun parlok sisian ngabdas by pishuni video kani kade ka show Shillong Talk of the Town. But ngi hakani ka show ngi wanra bun bahaki ki bangi ngiyo bani kran mo lakalong nado kini ki nong bi khmat shapang ka kam ka jongki lakalong shapang ki nong rai shapang ka jinga lenti ki jongki lani ki babun ki benta. Ti hakani klimat ngasngo ba ngi don kam bani kran shapang ka jing puli jat bakadang day ka ayom because it's still season now of admissions and all that. I think it is a perfect timing for us to get to know schools and institutions. Pingin tips pangin ni jaka puli bapher ki badon hangni hapo ka lesilap no ka nongba ni jala ka jongi. And what interested me the most when it comes to schools and institution here is this particular institution, which we have a very dynamic principal of the school who can tell us more about it. But this school has surprised me in so many ways. And for the first time when I went there, when I visited the school and stepped foot there, the first impression was like, man, this looks like a mall. It doesn't look like a school to me. Kapor kasir bening ko mangarung akan ni school ka kapher bang am tip kanungut Depending jong pi ki badon ye ki khna le ni ki khun ki jong pi ki bapenlet school hakani ka campus. I'm not sure how many of the viewers have their kids study in your school, ma'am. But I take this opportunity to introduce the school to you all. Ngako aban penitho le ni ban ye kren kham benya ha Midday ba kani ka school. Nomor ba kani ka school ka pher ba masnrung hang tu I kuma ngapois ka ki jaka. It's very interesting and I would like to share more about it. Because I would like to know more about it. I have a son now. He's not yet ready for school. Yet I have to start thinking about it.
Yes.
So I have a perfect person here to actually to narrate the entire concept of the school there. Because this, to me at least personally, it is like if I can put it. A very unique way of setting up a school. Though I can say it is in the heart of the city of Shillong, yet you have such a spacious environment for kids to move around, even from the stairs to the rooms to so many things. And when we visited that time, I think it was just a quarter of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I could only visit your room.
Yes.
And one activity room, if I'm not mistaken. I wish I had more time to explore. But anyway, that will happen in the future. But now let's hear it from a principal here. And I think let's start from what the school stands for and what is this school all about. I will not even mention the name. But let ma'am here mention everything from start to finish. We just had a conversation just now where the entire building was built in 10 months time, and I mean this school never failed to surprise me.
True.
So I want to hear more. Ma'am, please,
Yes.
if you can introduce yourself and the school, of course.
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Sreevidya Vinay. I'm the principal of BDW International School. And thank you very much for speaking so much about the school. I'm feeling so good. And okay, so I should first start with why did we even start a school? So the school is run by Donos Seangshai Education Trust. So Sir Donos Seangshai had to send his children out for their studies. So then he thought, now if I missed a lot of family time with my children, and the new generation should not be losing their family time with their parents, they should be close to their family. So for which we need quality education closer home. So that was the complete thought, and he thought, okay, let's go, let's start a school.
That's very interesting way of looking at
Yeah.
things, you know? Yeah. I mean, for most of us who want quality education, maybe if even if you have to think only just about a few 100 kilometers away, like Guwahati for that matter, I mean, there's this concern of being away from our kids, you know, being away from our parents. That is one concern which everybody has when it comes to education that way. Yeah, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, yeah?
True. But coming from Bangalore, I can vouch by stating that even Bangalore doesn't have a school like this.
Oh,
That's only because the intention of management is to give quality education and to ensure that we meet international standards at all arenas. So that's what we believe in.
so what does BDW International School stands for?
So it's, as I said, Sir Donesh started the school. So it is D is Donesh Sir,
Okay.
and B is Babiana, his mother's name, and W is Wombo, his wife's name. So he's somebody who respects women a lot. So that is how he wanted his mother's name and his wife's name in the school.
Oh, lovely.
And he always tells me, I should mention this. He says, whatever I am today, it is because of my mother and my wife.
And very interesting way of putting himself in the middle, you know, supported by women on the
Yes.
sides, right?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. So how is this different? You know, even the setup and the concept and everything from, let's say, from other schools or institution.
So there's a lot of things which I can speak about. But to start with, we believe in holistic development. If we, probably as children, when we remember our school, it was basically go to classroom, finish your classes. Your teacher will give a homework. If you haven't done your homework, there is a punishment. Receive your punishment, then come back home.
That's how we learn
That's
the
how
hard
we
way.
learn.
Yeah, right.
So, but when we conceptualized BDW International School, we thought we'll make it a second home. So we believe in holistic development. So when we say holistic development, it includes physical development, psychological development, emotional development, mental abilities being developed, and spiritual development. So everything inclusively will be a holistic development. Today, when I met you as a person, I never asked you what is your qualification.
Right.
The first thing I said is, you're such a positive soul. So that's holistic. When you see a person, the charm in the person, the way a person speaks, the presentation, all these things make us good human beings. So
True,
we as a school believe when our children graduate from our school, they should be called as good human beings with all-round development. So that was the basic thought.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Nice. So and what are the programs, maybe courses that you offer apart from, let's say, the the school routine or syllabus that you offer for
Yes.
children?
So for the pre-primary section,
Mhm.
it's we believe in thematic curriculum. So earlier, when probably when we had been to nursery or
Mhm.
KG1, KG2, it was always read science, read maths.
Mhm.
We weren't even asked, "Are you ready to hold a pencil?" There was a teacher standing with a scale, and she would say, "Hold the pencil." But here, we are in an era wherein we believe in children preparation. It is a student centric education. We all went through teacher centric education, wherein the teacher decides, depending on her mood, what happened
Right.
back at her family, everything depended on the way our classes would run. But today, it's student centric approach.
Mhm.
If the students are ready to receive, that is when the teacher can teach. So, when we speak about pre primary education, it is not about alphabets or it is not about numericals. It is basically about sensory development. How many of us really see and observe our children? Is the vision okay? Is the hearing okay? Is my child touching properly?
Mhm.
So, these are sensory developments. And when you see the children developing, you will see that there are certain behavioral issues. Some of them will have anger issues. Some of them would have, hyperactive disorders.
Mhm.
So all these things has to be observed. So our teachers are trained basically to observe the children and then teach accordingly.
Mhm.
So when we go to our classes, when we say theme, we do not basically divide the books into maths, science, and English. It is basically the books would have mathematical development also. It'll have logical thinking, critical thinking, linguistic development, everything happening based on themes.
Oh,
So that's how
okay.
children learn.
So does this theme are being separated or may being chosen according to the liking of a student, or how is it being done?
So these particular curriculum are basically developed with a lot of research being made, and we follow digital curriculum.
Okay.
So all our classes are digital classrooms. So there is something called as creative learning through vision. So I remember, I'm sure you would have also learned the tortoise and the hare story,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So we had to imagine. But now, thank you. But now, children, when we say tortoise, they'll ask hundreds of questions. So for what? For which, a teacher would say, you can imagine. Instead of that, if we have a digital board, internet has everything.
Yeah.
So you can teach them through vision. That is, they will have a memory which is developed by looking at things. So that
More
is
like a
there.
visual representation of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that is the primary aspect of having a digital board in the classrooms. It'll help children to understand by looking at things. I'm sure most of our memories are strong because we see things. Today, probably, can I ask you, what is 13 times 9? Can you answer me immediately?
13 times 9.
Yeah.
Um. 100 and 117.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I'm
if I
good.
ask-
I'm still good. Nice. I'm impressed with my calculations.
Yes. I'm impressed too.
That was a good one.
But if I ask you, which is your favorite movie?
Interstellar?
Yeah. So the answer was easy. How is it easy?
Yeah, it's because of the impression of the Okay.
Yeah. So you had seen and it had
Yeah.
made an impression on you, right? So
Right.
that's how the digital classrooms help. And that is what is the base in pre-primary education. So we believe in sensory development. Every classroom in our school, in the pre-primary section, has an attached activity area. And the activity area has playing panels, which is just not toys. The playing panels have sensory developmental toys.
The colorful ones that I saw.
Yeah, you remember?
Okay, all right.
You have an amazing memory.
Yeah. Thank you. I treat it as a compliment. Yeah.
So those are for the spatial development. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say, but even now, if you suddenly ask me which is your left and right, I have a confusion because I have a bit of problem with spatial orientation
Okay,
with regards
alright.
to left and right.
Okay.
So probably if I was studying in BDW, my teachers would have recognized this and they might have helped me out. They might actually would have brought some toys wherein this problem would have been solved. But yes, so nowadays when children have spatial orientation problem or anything with regards to the development, holistic development, there is something called as 3 C's. It's called as catch it, check it, and change it. So we identify the issue, then we'll call the counselor. We have an in-house counselor and a child psychologist. So she will come, she'll observe the child, then she's going to catch it and she's going to change it. So through this, it's not only academics, their behavior is being developed in a right sense. So it's a complete development, not only based on academics, but it is in all other walks of life. Our children, we just had our graduation day. I'm sure that video is available in the YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
A child who was 3.5 years gave a welcome speech. There was one more child who was an anchor, and there was one more child who gave a vote of thanks. And
How old are
they
these
were just
kids?
3.5 years. And we had Ma'am Patricia Mukim as the chief guest, and she was like, do they even know how to read? I said, no, they don't know how to read. They've just heard, memorized, and they spoke.
My goodness. Now I'm embarrassed of myself, yeah. Goodness.
So my children who are just 3 years old in our school, they know how to hold a mic. They know how to stand on a dais. They know what should be their posture. So all this is the development of presentation. So this is how we work in our school. It's not only academics, not that we are not concentrating on academics, but we believe that every aspect of development is important for the child.
So which means these three and a half are from the preschool program?
Yes. So we our assembly, when we start our day. So do you remember how was your assembly in your school?
Yeah, standing in a queue, and we have singing of songs and themes with thought of the day and all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have role play happening in our assembly.
All right.
A child who is in nursery K1, they will come, they will read out the news. They will not only say the thought, they will also explain the thought. And we also have on certain days, we will have musics being sung, the songs are being sung with the instruments. They dance in their assembly. Because I'm sure, if we start our day with a beautiful note of music and dance, the day looks more beautiful. So that's how we start with our assembly. So a child who has held mic when he was 3 years old wouldn't even understand what is stage fear.
Yeah.
So
true.
when it is like innate, it becomes a personality by itself.
Yeah, right.
He or she wouldn't care. What
Yeah.
is 100 people? What is 1,000 people? When you're not afraid of, when you don't have the stage
Yeah,
fear.
I mean they'll get habituated with
Yes, and that's how they could speak.
So how long does this assembly usually take?
Usually takes 40 minutes, a minimum of 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yes. So because we are not in rush to finish only academics, we are looking into a different aspect of development.
It's more like an event every day, right?
Yes.
You have an audience, you have performances.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And then?
So that's how the day starts.
Okay.
And so my K1 and K2 children, they'll first, if I have to speak the timetable of the complete school, 7:30 children reach to the school.
Okay.
They'll have a nutritious breakfast. And after the breakfast
is also being served?
Yes, it is being served in the school. So when parents come for admission, we say we want children to take bath, take the blessings of Almighty and their parents and come to school. Nothing else to be done. So
what about books?
So till the pre-primary stage, they don't have to carry books, the foundation stage.
Okay.
After which, till class 5, okay, this is something, I have to probably go according to the day and I'll tell you how it works.
Okay. I have too many questions.
Yes. So 7:30, once they reach school, they'll have their breakfast, they'll play for some time, and then the assembly starts. And then the academic classes for the first 6 periods, the regular school, we will have that. And then they'll go for the lunch break. And lunch is also served in school. After lunch, we have something called as guidance class and reinforcement class. In any other school, once the school finishes, they have to go home, start with their home task. But when we started with our school, we basically wanted to help parents who are working. Most of us nowadays, both the parents are working. And once we go home, sitting with children, helping them do home tasks would be a challenge.
Yeah.
So we have something called as reinforcement class and guidance class. So in reinforcement class, the class will be divided into the children who, according to the subject challenges. There are few children who have problem with Hindi, some of them will have problem with math, some of them will have problem with science. So we divide the class, and the class will have 2 to 3 teachers who would be helping them out in the subjects which is a challenge for them. So their home task is done. Now after the home task is done also, there are few parents who are habituated to tuition. So they want their children to have tuition. So we have the worksheets prepared chapter wise, and in their guidance class, they will be doing their worksheets.
Tuitions.
Yes.
All right.
So the home task is done, tuition is done. Next, what will the child do? A normal school going child, they'll be either enrolled in a music class or a dance class, art and craft class, sports or martial arts. That is also done in the school. So the last 1 hour, our children are divided and they go to their music lab, their dance lab, and then they go to art and craft, or if they are interested, they'll go to sports and martial arts. So according to their interest and passion, they'll be divided and they'll be going to their classes.
So the school is equipped with all those.
Yes.
Extracurriculars.
So the tuition is done, homework is done, their co-curricular activities is done. Then they will have snacks and go back home. So when they go home, they carry an almanac, which completely speaks about what was their day, what happened in the first period to what happened in the last club hour. Everything is written. So the parent can just sit with the almanac, speak to the child, understand what happened in the school, sign the almanac, and they can have a beautiful family time, and then they can go to sleep.
So by what time does this end?
It ends by 4:30.
4:30
in the evening.
I thought it'll be somewhere around 7 or so. Interesting. So which means okay, then the regular school schedule or the routine starts from what time then?
The regular school routine starts from 8:20, and by 12:30 the classes finish. After that, it is reinforcement, club hour, guidance class. So the last 3 hours completely it is used for understanding where do children lack in academics, and we help them out. And we also believe in giving equal importance to co-scholastics. So all their co-scholastic classes will be taking place.
Interesting. Actually, it reminds me of my school days. I did from class 6 till 12. I was in a boarding school, JNV, Jawan Navodaya Vidyalaya. So we had a similar curriculum. We where we have. I mean, it is a fully residential school then, and we don't meet our parents every day.
Yeah.
So we stay there, but that is the difference, because we are a fully residential school, and the teachers and I mean the entire academic is being designed in such a way where designed in such a way for students who are residential, so
Yes.
not for students who comes from outside. So what we usually have is, again, like you said, our day starts from 5, because we have these morning routine exercise and all that, yoga and what do you call those PT exercise and all that. And then we have tea by 7 to 7:30. So we have classes from 8. And then we have 2 periods, and then we have breakfast. And then after breakfast, we have again a long day of these routine classes. And by 1, it'll be over and it's lunchtime. After lunch, at 2:30, we have remedial classes, where we have remedial classes are mostly sort of these extra classes that we get from teachers. And then after the remedial classes, we will have that'll be around 1 hour or so. And then after that, we will have again the evening session, where we get to play games and sports, and all those activities happens between let's say 3:30 to 5:30 or so. And then we have another evening assembly by 5:30, and then we have from 5:30 onwards, we have the supervision class till 7:30 or 8 when it's time for dinner. So I can relate.
Yes.
But but to pull it off in a non-residential school, I think it's quite impressive. It's quite a challenging task even for the teachers.
Yes.
If I'm made to understand, I mean,
Yes.
teachers are like, I don't know how equipped or how you equip these teachers to handle such a Herculean task for every student. Do you have, I mean, a separate mentors or separate supervisors for all those extracurricular activities? Or
Yes. So our recruitment is done pan India.
Okay.
So we have teachers across India who have come and who are staying in Meghalaya, who are staying in Shillong and helping our children.
Uh-huh.
So most of them are experts in their fields.
I see.
So that is how we are able to manage and bring in or develop our own curriculum. So when we speak about sports, it's not random wherein, today you want to play football, just go and play football. There is a sports curriculum for that. So sports, it's an education. It's not just playing. So when we have experts coming in, the training is being done for them, mentorship is being done for them. Every year, there are lots of trainings happening for different teachers and updations. It's very important. So we keep ourselves updated thanks to CBSE and thanks to Life Educare, who are helping us out for recruitment and for training of our teachers. So through them, we are also getting a lot of teachers from schools who have already, who have known how to work on children in day boarding facility and how is that we can help children in the limited hours. So that's how we are helping the children. And one more thing I forgot to add. With this, my pre-primary children also sleep for an hour. So we have
I saw those little beds.
Yes.
Okay.
So they sleep and they wake up. And I'm sure you would be knowing midday sleep is so important for children development, the child
Even
development.
for me too.
Yes.
Right now. Nowadays, I kind of need more sleep at the time. Yeah. But I saw last time when we came, there was
Yes.
a room
Yes.
with those little beds.
Yes.
So those are meant for sleeping,
Yes.
resting during the daytime.
Yes. So when
Okay.
everything has a concept in our school. When I speak about sleeping, It's just not. It's just that it's not that we ask children, okay, children, go and sleep. We don't do that. I mean, if you permit me, I can tell you how
Please.
So when we make the children sleep, we basically start with a music, a meditation music, a soothing music, so that they calm down, because they would be playing, then they would have had their lunch. So it all brings in a lot of hyperactivity in children, and immediately they'll not go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
With this, a teacher would be narrating a story. So what happens is, I'm sure this is going too deep, but then we have alpha, beta levels in our consciousness, and how we get into our subconsciousness and our dream
You get
levels.
to that level of putting a child to sleep.
So, I mean, the concept was built on this. So what we do is, when we are narrating a story, the children keep listening. So it would be, of course, there is a different way of storytelling.
Yeah.
You have to ensure that the children have that imagination.
Right.
So that's how we narrate the story, and we will not end with the moral. We'll stop when it is about to end, and we have to say the moral of the story. We end, and we'll put them to sleep. Once they wake up, we'll ask them, how do you think we have to end the story, and what should be the moral of the story? And you believe it or not, we'll have 100 more morals coming out, which are so naturalistic in their own ways. So that's the concept of putting children to sleep. They have to get into that level of imagination. So that's how we put them to sleep. And when they wake up, they're all awake, they're enthusiastic, they want to narrate what happened in their dreams. And then the second half of the day starts.
So which means there's a particular time of the day where you put them to sleep.
Yes.
All of them together?
All of them together.
At the same time?
At the same time. Because it's the music is on and the story is on. Every child, they have their own way of imagination, and in their own imagination, they'll go to sleep. So we need not say, close your eyes, no noise.
I still remember my teacher say, are you feeling sleepy? Go home. Don't sleep in the class. That was the kind of school we all went, I'm sure. All possible. Interesting. I mean, what's more interesting is that you don't just give them a chance to sleep, but actually take the effort to actually put them to sleep.
Yes.
Knowing these the so to call the science behind it.
Yes.
And the development factors, so to say, behind the so-called sleep during the day.
Yes.
Teachers, you should allow us. You should have allowed us to sleep. But anyway,
but we all did it on our own.
Yeah,
Not even asking our teachers.
We did, and you won't believe it. Then, few of my friends even sleep with their eyes wide open.
Yes.
Can you imagine? Those were the days. My goodness. But yeah, you did mention CBSE. So you followed the CBSE curriculum?
Yes, we follow CBSE curriculum. Because CBSE curriculum helps us, again, when there are different other curriculums. Now, why is that we chose CBSE is, CBSE believes in integration of curriculum.
Right.
So, which is very important, and it helps when they take up their competitive examination.
True. I mean, we also, myself, I did my CBSE board, so yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
So which means even this primary education, that is completely...
Everything is based on CBSE curriculum.
I see. So which means you will have exams by February, March.
Yes.
Okay. So by now, the students will be having the exams, I believe.
Yes, the exams are going on.
All right. So which means the admission for the school will start from April onwards?
The admissions are on.
Oh, they're already on?
They're already on.
Oh, I see. So which means, okay, I have so many questions right now. Wait, okay, no, because such a concept is like too good to be true.
Yes.
Because it's more like I mean, when we were kids, we couldn't think of anything other than just complete the homework and go to sleep, or maybe get to the playground and play. Even after being taught with the CBSE curriculum, we still think that way. Though it's a little different from the, let's say, the MBOS curriculum that we have here in the state. When we were being introduced to the CBSE course, we're like, okay, wow. And the only challenging thing was Hindi because it's compulsory.
Yes.
And but even then, we had a time, figuring what's best for us and for our future and for our career and all that. Especially when we get to class 9, 10, or 11, 12. And but now, trying to imagine or reimagine a curriculum where you have this holistic development of a child, where I'm not sure if that does happen in your campus or in your curriculum, but having that concept, feed into a child, where about their future, so to say. Because every time when we are being asked what we wanted to do, when we grow up, there are like hundreds of imaginations, like, which are impractical sometimes.
True.
The only ambition that I've heard, which is very practical, which which when we were in school, when we heard this little fellow, when he came up in the stage and said he wanted to be this person, that was the only time when we all agreed that this guy is going to do what it takes to be that person. And that ambition was, he wanted to be a driver.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not saying being a driver is good or bad,
Yes.
but he is being practical. I'm not sure how is he being influenced or maybe inspired. Maybe his dad is a driver, or a good driver, or the best driver he's he's ever had in his life or ever seen in his life. But the kind of perspective, the kind of the point of view, so to say, which being fed on him or to his psyche, is completely different from the herd mentality we usually have.
Yes.
Usually had back in the days. So I am pretty sure this kind of development, these kind of programs that you're trying to bring in and give the children, I think it kind of points the children to that direction where the decision in life is being taken like at a very younger age.
True.
Is that the case?
Yes, because I think we all in school say to our children, you can be whatever you want. And probably that is what, if our parents would have mentioned, today we would have had better skill sets developed and we would have been different other people. I remember one of my students saying, I think now she's in K2. So I was asking the child, what do you want to be? She said, I want to be a panda caretaker.
Wow.
So that's a profession which she wants to get into. She says, panda is cute. I want to take care of panda. So I want to be a panda caretaker.
Imagine if we could nurture that, that ambition right from their younger age.
Yes.
Imagine feeding them with all this information. Let's say, for example, panda caretaker, information about pandas. And I believe, feeding them this information and these kind of education right from a younger age in that line of work, my goodness, when they reach that level or that age where they are ready to take the world, I think they'll be equipped with all the things that
and thanks to our parents also who now have acceptance. Probably if you and me would have said, Mom, we want to be panda caretakers.
My goodness. Who is this panda?
And why do you have to take care of him?
Why panda? Why not dogs and cats? You have dogs and cats at home. but that's interesting. That's very interesting. And for the sake of
while we were speaking about career decision, so in our school, when children reach grade 9, we have career counseling session being done.
By grade 9?
Yes. Because that's how early now children understand what they want to do in life. And that's how early we have to channelize them. So when we speak about career decision, there is something called as caliber test, which will be made by professionals. So they check on their logical thinking ability, their critical thinking ability, and what are the skill sets, what is their passion, how is their attitude towards different professions. Everything will be analyzed. It's actually a 3 hours paper which they write, and there's nothing right and wrong in this paper. So it'll be a lot of questions which they will answer
That will be at class 9.
Yes, from class 9. So a professional is called. So we have a collaboration with the Career Counseling Academy. So they will come, they will assist the child, and they will help the child to understand what profession would suit them and what is their passion all about. Some of us, though we have a passion, we have never identified. There is no self-awareness that I like this. Probably by the time, I always say, some of us in 40s also don't know what we have to do in life, right? You haven't reached. I have reached. So I know what.
Yeah. Yes, I do agree.
So they need to understand, oh, am I good at this? Do I like this? Some of the questions is only when somebody who is a professional who would recognize and say. And then we'll allow them to take their decisions. We'll also call in the parents, speak to them, say that your child is good in this. So there are many a times wherein for grade 11, when they come for admission, I see that the parents are saying, Mom, she has got 75%. Let her take science. So how is 75% related to science, wherein the child wants to be a musician, right? So we need to understand what are the skill sets, what are they good in, and allow them to grow. So that's why we have career counseling also, which is like seriously done at every stage of their development from grade 9, so that they can make right decisions. And according to their decisions, we'll channelize them. We'll make them meet the mentors. We'll show them which is the best university they can get into. All that can be done once we understand what are the capabilities of the children. So we do the career counseling from grade 9.
For once, I'm a bit difficult or trying as hard as I can to imagine that this is in Shillong.
Yes.
Of all these curriculum that I've heard are always outside.
Yes.
If not the States, maybe somewhere in the metro cities where you have easy access to so many things. When you talk about quality education, when you talk about the environment that the school is being set up in, and there's so many factors that determine a good school in any region.
True.
And for a fact that this school is here in Shillong, I'm like, okay, I'll have to take some time to digest. But anyway, so can you just take us through these different levels of standards, or these classes that you have designed for the students here?
Yes. So I spoke about the pre-primary section. Then the regular classes starts from grade 9 to grade 1 to grade 9.
Okay.
And then we have also started with grade 11.
All right.
In which there are 3 streams. One is science, humanities, and commerce.
All right.
So that is for the grade 11. And with science, the school is also helping them to, take up their IIT and NEET. So we are helping them to understand how the competitive examinations are conducted. And we will also coach them to take up this examination.
It's more like coaching centers.
Yes, the facilities which you get in the coaching center is also being given in the school. That's how we are helping the children.
So as early as what age would you take admission?
2.5 years. So that's where the nursery admission starts.
Okay.
So if they join us in nursery till they finish their 12th grade, they'll be with us. And probably the children who have joined us in pre-primary stage will have a better development because they would have had the better exposure from an engage. That's how I always, there are few parents who would come and say, ma'am, I think we'll take up the admission because this is really wonderful, but let him come to grade 4. Later that I'll take admission. But by grade 4, there are so many things which the child would have missed. So I always encourage, take the admission in nursery so that some of the developments happens according, it's age according, So those developments would be, there would be hindrance in such developments if they don't take up the admission earlier. Of course, I'm not, speaking more about the admission, but that's how it'll help us out. Whatever the decisions we make, if we could make it at the early stages, it'll help us out.
So, if I can ask, how tough is the admission?
Now, there are two myths which I usually hear as a principal. One is about the timings. Now, probably, I'm sure your audience would know why do we have such long hours in the school. The second thing is, I don't know, where is this myth coming from? There are people who come and say, ma'am, we have heard the fees is 15 lakhs. The fees is 10 lakhs. And then I'm like, no, at least me as a principal, I know that it is not so much.
Okay.
Our average school fee is 8,000 rupees per month.
Okay.
Now, let's see, you said you have a son. If he goes to a music class, how much would be the tuition fee per month?
Say 1,500 or so.
Right, 1,500. If he goes to dance class, what will be the fees?
I'm not a dancer, but I can imagine. How much do you think?
Another
maybe I don't know. Okay, let's just put it another
Yeah.
1,500. Yes.
So that's 3,000. If he goes to art and craft, how much would they charge?
Again, maybe less or a bit more than that, but on average, 1,000 to 1,500.
1,000. So that'll be around 4,000. If he goes to martial arts, so how much would they charge?
Again, I think around the same price.
Okay, so that comes to around 5,000. Then if he goes to sports, how much would they charge?
Okay. My goodness, now I'm lost in calculation. Yeah, maybe around the same.
Yeah, around the same.
Yeah.
So around 6,500, 7,000 is what we are going to spend on the core scholastic. And the complete academic program, it's just the school average is 8,000 per month.
Okay.
But I don't know where is this myth coming from that it's 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. I'm happy that the school, there are people who think that the school can,
Can charge that much.
But we aren't. We aren't. So that's the fee structure which we are giving. I mean, it's basically not to make money. That's what Sir Donis always says. It's not to make money. It's time to give back to the society. But, managing teachers from outside, we need to have a staff quarters for them. So there are lots of, when we say a day of almost 8 hours with children, there are a lot of facilities which we have to give.
True.
So for all those things, that's the charge. But I'm happy that there is somewhere I'm mentioning about the fees.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have to say it's practical or not, but why I'm saying that, because back then when we were in the residential school, it was a free of course. It was a center sponsored program.
Yes.
But if we have to calculate how much a person would spend in a day, I think if we had to pay back then, it would be somewhere around, I think, 300 to 400 per day. Because see, we have breakfast, lunch, and the other programs, provided we have a dormitory to sleep and all that. So, but providing all these things minus the dormitory, the dorms, so to say, in the evening, I think it is still practical.
Yes.
Well, because okay, come to think of it, if it is 8,000, I'm not good with math. You can help me here.
Yes.
So if it is 8,000 in a month, how much would you break down for each child in a day then? Let's say.
So, I mean, this 8,000, probably I'll not be able to divide it, but that's like the bare minimum
Exactly,
amount,
exactly. That's what I'm trying to imply.
Okay, I think I forgot to speak about the STEAM lab. Have you heard of the STEAM lab?
You mean kind of like you go bathe there in steam or
No, it's
something?
not sauna.
That's what I had in mind.
I expected this answer.
Yeah, okay. Oh, what is
So,
it?
STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. So, it's STEAM
a
lab.
STEAM lab. I see. I got.
Now, let's edit it.
All right. Okay.
So,
All right.
when you speak about STEAM lab, children are learning about robotics. They're learning about 21st century skills. They're learning about design thinking. They're learning about life skills. So, all these are not even, we don't even calculate. We want children to learn because it's techno-driven school. We want our children to be updated. And when we call them as Gen Zs and 21st century's children, so they need to be updated.
Yeah, right.
So I'm sure when you were learning maths in your school, did you have a lab for maths?
No, I think we had access to lab when I think after when we reach class 8 or 9 when we could get a glimpse of a microscope.
Okay.
Or maybe touch a test tube. So yeah.
So my nursery child goes to a Montessori lab. There is something called as Montessori lab.
Okay.
So what they learn how. There is also a way of teaching how to hook, unhook, how to button, unbutton. How do we keep things? How do we roll a mat? We also have a space. It's a life skill area in our school. I'm sure you had been there, whether you remember or not. There's a room setup, a small room setup wherein there is a cupboard, there's a table. So we ask children to clean their table. How do you make your bed? How do you keep your clothes? How would you keep your kitchen? How do you manage your kitchen sets? Now, again, the question would be why children should learn life skills. Most of us are very good in probably professional life, but back at home, we all have challenges.
True.
Right?
True.
We don't know how to manage our life being alone. We need our moms or the support staff, somebody helping us out. But now I'm sure most of my students, after their grade 12, none of them would stay here. They will go abroad.
Yeah, right.
So most of the countries, they can't have sub-staff. So they need to have life skills. So I also I ensure that our teachers take children to kitchen. They've been taught how to grate. I'll tell you the concept of grating. How would you grate a carrot? You know the grating?
Yes.
So probably when the carrot is always, it's the bigger size to the smaller size.
Yeah.
So they start grating. Now this is called as tripod. Okay? I'll tell you the magic now. So they start grating. By the time the carrot comes to the corner, you can see them holding like this. And what do we hold when we are holding? What is the basic thing a child will hold with this tripod? It's the pencil. So the child is trained how to hold a pencil by doing the grating.
Indirectly,
Yes. We ask children to pound. We ask children to pound because your eye-hand coordination is very important.
All right.
So when you do the pounding, your eye should be coordinating with your hand, the speed, right? The speed at which, the pressure. So there is a coordination exercise happening.
Okay.
So all these things are done in kitchen and they feel it is just a game, but it is not a game. It is basically education. And this is called as Montessori method. So thanks to Ma'am Maria Montessori who taught us all these methods. And this is being followed in the school. So it's more or less playway method. So if you ask my children, probably they'll come and say, I danced today. I went to kitchen today. I was cutting the vegetables.
Mhm.
I slept. I came back.
Mhm.
So the parent would be perplexed. What did my child learn in that case?
Mhm.
But there is a lot of learning happening with all these activities. So we basically believe in activity-based learning and project-based learning.
My goodness, it's too much to take it in. But okay, now suppose if let's say if a child comes for admission,
Hmm.
maybe grade 8 or 9,
Mhm.
after they, let's say they missed all the earlier grades, so how do you compensate with all those activity? Do you have a certain way or certain criterias that that this child or this student need to meet before giving admission or something?
So CBSE clearly says when you take up an interview, there is
Mhm.
no concept of interview which has been completely defined by CBSE,
Mhm.
but you cannot be denying seats because
Alright.
CBSE speaks about inclusive education.
Yep.
So when we take a child, when we give admission, if there is no severe illness,
Mhm.
we most of the time give admission
All right.
because we believe that as a school we can help them grow well. So the counselor will have certain sessions. She will try and assist the child. And if there are any problems, we will help them out. And then the coordinators, the academicians, or the teachers, they will also have academic assessments and they will say, Ma'am, this child needs help in so and so subject. So we
Okay.
give that extra time, and thanks to the student teacher ratio in our school, it is
Mhm.
1:20. So when I have less number of children in school in every class,
Mhm.
and when we have more teachers, they are able to give one-on-one attention to every
Right,
child,
right.
and it's easy to observe and assess. So wherever we find that there is some problem or a certain amount of extra attention to be given, we
Mhm.
give that attention and we ensure that they if it is academics, they'll definitely understand. They'll get good marks provided we give that one-on-one attention. We
See.
have to explain concepts, and then that is how they understand, and that is how they get the confidence and they'll score well.
Okay. So for each batch, I mean, you provide admission for all the grades, or
As on time, I am bit skeptical of giving admission in class 9
okay.
because our class 9 has been from class 5. I mean, 4 years back when we started with our admission, we had admission till class 5. So
Mhm.
those are the children who have come to class 9 now.
I see.
So till class 9, only for the class 9, I'm a
Mhm.
bit skeptical because next year is their
So
examination
they
and
have
we
you
have to
the
prepare.
yeah, the registration and
Yes,
everything also,
yes.
yeah.
So till class 8, we are open for admission.
Okay, and
And class 11 also.
11.
Yes.
Okay, I see. So so for the 11, do they need to be from CBSE?
Not
Oh,
really. Not really.
alright.
They can be from MBOS or ICSE. Any background is okay. They
Okay.
will be getting admissions, provided they at least have the basic knowledge of what subject they want to take into.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we can definitely go for a career counseling and then they can understand.
Yeah. Okay. Can you at least run us through the syllabus? Let's say for of any grade, if you can choose. Because if you talk about CBSE again,
Mhm.
Hindi is one big factor for us tribals here.
Yes.
So how is the syllabus like? Yeah, has there been any change since I left school?
So till class 8, we have three language. That is, one is English, Hindi, and Khasi.
Okay.
Now, yes, there are few parents who would come and say, why is that our children are forced to learn Khasi?
Mhm.
But we as a school believe that every child who is in Meghalaya should learn the language of the land. So Khasi is a compulsory subject. Hindi because the national CBSE says,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hindi is important.
Yes. We have to struggle ourselves till class 10.
Yes. And English. So those are the languages.
Right.
And mathematics, science, and social. So with that, the computer science, because now the information technology, information science is a part of curriculum. So computer science.
I see. So, is there any when we were back in school, we had the system of what they used to call a retest. If a student fail in one attempt of exam, so we usually have retest. I'm not sure if that is also applicable in your school,
So
or how is it?
Yeah. So what happens with CBSE is earlier, I mean, when probably we both were studying, it was only the written paper which would give us the score. Now there is something called a subject enrichment for which you will have scores. That is based on the projects they have done.
Okay.
The notebooks, how do you keep your notebooks? That also has a score. And then the written examination. So when we say a child has scored less or the child has failed, is it the child who has failed or the system which has failed? That's the question which we need to ask, right? If it can't be that the child is just, he had been scoring 100 throughout the year and in the exam he failed. It would be gradual. It would be consistent. So we observe the children. We ensure that if there are many more practice papers to be given, we give them practice papers. And then at least they will understand the major concepts, which will be a continuous, a curriculum for the next class. And that will be emphasized so that children learn well and they write their examination. And when we write our examination, it is not the theoretical paper. We'll have multiple choice questions.
Yeah.
We have diagrams based questions.
Okay.
Right? So that is how there are few children who score well in MCQs. There are few children who learn through diagrams and they score over there. Some of them who are very good in descriptive answers, they score. So when children have been given different other options of assessment, children definitely pass. It's not that we want them to pass. See, at the end of the day, why do we have examination? It's only to understand what the teacher has taught has been understood by the child or not. That's it, right? There is no other objective behind examination. Why do we need examination? Is it to punish the child or is it to make the teacher understand how well did I teach?
Assessment.
Yes. So when we write the lesson plans also, there is something called as learning outcome. So when you write the learning outcome, it's basically a teacher asking herself whether the concept which I have taught, how much is the outcome from the child? How much did the child learn? So that is how we assess. So when we say a child scoring less, it's not the child who is scoring less. It's the teacher who is scoring less. It's the principal who is scoring less. It's the school who is scoring less. It's the society who is scoring less. So that's how we have to see. And that's when we will be able to empathize towards the child and help the child to grow well.
If I can ask, all these concepts that you have come up with as a school, are these planned and strategized right before starting the school, or is it developed, as the year passes, or as you see students coming and as per the need and requirement?
So our base was very strong and it was pre-decided. We wanted our children to accept diversity, multiculturalism, and we wanted our children to be global citizens. This was our base. So the base was very strong and it was pre-decided. Now, that is our vision. Now, based on this vision, according to the developments, our missions are changing, right? Our ways are changing, but our foundation is still the same. We want our children to be global citizens. Wherever they go, any corner of the world, they should know how to stay happy, and they should have all the skill sets readily available so that they can adapt themselves in the space.
They shouldn't be feeling out of place,
Yes.
all that. I mean, that is a very, challenging aspect of being a student. So, especially when you're still young, finishing class 12, and you have to go out, and you don't know anything about the world. You're just kind of a new person going to a new place or a new world with new people and all that. It's very difficult. If not difficult, but it takes time for a person to adjust.
True.
In a hostile environment.
Yes.
if I have to put it. But having these small ways of of preparing them how to face the world that way, I think that is a big help, if I can say, for the students, or for our children, little ones.
Yes.
That is. Okay, I have so many questions. Okay, wait.
Shoot.
Let me. Okay, let us get to another part. Okay. I saw there were a few awards that I saw on the website and on your page also on the Instagram. There were a few awards that you've received, Pan India and also in
Yes.
Can you just tell us about those awards?
So, 2020, we got the best emerging high potential school from Education World. So we were positioned fourth in Pan India and first in Meghalaya. And second year, we got second position in the category of co-ed schools. And this year, it's best technology integrated school. So first position in Meghalaya and fourth position in Pan India.
That's. I mean, I'm proud to be to have a school as such, to
Yes.
bring us awards like that in the education sector.
Yes.
I mean, see, let's face it, we have a lot going on in terms of education and in the educational sector here in the state, from underpaid teachers to classrooms not well equipped. What's well equipped? Some schools doesn't even have a classroom. Just a few days back, I think, no, it was just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. There was a news in the paper where they still have to share blackboards between two classes because they don't have a blackboard.
Yes.
So, I mean, such is the case in many places, in many regions here in Meghalaya. Yet, your school, trying to be different, not just providing these facilities and a better infrastructure for the students, but also a holistic approach of developing them, not for just the fact that that you try to bring these programs of making the students feel at home in school is commendable.
Yes.
Because see, at the end of the day, I don't want my child to say I don't want to go to school.
True.
Waking up one day, I just don't want to go to school anymore because let's face it, there are so many factors. Because they
Yes.
don't like the teacher, maybe they don't like studying, maybe they don't like maybe the environment. But to actually pinpoint every student, individually, what they are facing, what they are going through, physically, emotionally, psychologically, understanding. I'm sure you also go through like the family background of
Yes,
the student
yes.
and how you can actually take care.
Yes.
All those things also. I think that that kind of an approach, I think it's not just a requirement, but it's a need of the hour to actually groom the students of this generation, like you mentioned earlier. I don't know what generation this is now.
Gen
but-
Z.
Gen Z. Okay, all right. So if we have to groom them now, if we get this, if we take this opportunity to groom them this way, or a similar way as such, I think we will save ourselves a lot of time in saving them from so many things in the future.
True.
and especially saving them from the amount of negativity, of the amount of toxicness in this world right now from your, I mean, let's face it, even the internet offers you so many things that you don't even know what your kids are watching the entire day. Suppose now if you are going to work, you have no one at home, maybe a nanny, or maybe someone who's taking care of your baby at home. Now when they come back from school, you don't know the 2-3 hours time what they do with whatever technology that you have, or whatever time that you are giving them, to spend. So I think involving them in such activities, I think it can not only enrich them but also make them find fun, find interest in the little things, such as just the what you call the tripod thing.
Yes.
So I think it's a need of the hour for everyone.
Keeping the children occupied
Mhm.
and keeping the children occupied with their quality, the quality which is important. How are they using the time?
Mhm.
The quality time is very important.
True.
So keeping a child occupied, you can do anything. You can just
Exactly.
throw a mobile or a tablet,
Yeah.
and they'll keep on looking at the digital aspect and the social media.
Mhm.
But how is that they are using the productivity of the time?
True.
That is very important. So
Right.
when we have the digital board also, it is used in such a way that it is one or the other way, it is helping them to gain knowledge and not just look into something which would just be a time pass.
Mhm.
And thanks to the digital curriculum which we follow, so this year will be following Chrysalis curriculum,
Okay.
and now we are into the world of augmented reality. It's
Right.
AI.
Right.
Right? So we need to work on artificial intelligence, augmented realities, and also the new curriculum is helping us to learn all these things. So now after the digital board, now we are also bringing in augmented reality, wherein they will try and understand, they will learn through artificial intelligence. So that is also being brought to the school.
Can how I believe you must have partners with you.
Yes.
Can you, how are these partners involved, and what are their roles?
So we have collaborated with Chrysalis,
Okay.
who have done a research on artificial intelligence helping the teaching aspect, the teaching methodology. So there is something called as Genie, which they have developed. It looks like a robo,
Okay.
and that'll be there in the classes. And using artificial intelligence, now how we have moved on from typing to chat GPT,
yeah.
we are moving from the digital port to augmented reality and artificial intelligence. So the robos, the small robo which is called as Genie, will be helping children. So they can throw questions and answers would be given accordingly. And this is how they are going to learn. So that will keep them occupied because that is something new in the school. And there is also learning happening, which would not be boring. Because just making them sit and teacher narrating or speaking for 40 minutes, that is how we all started hating
right,
classes. Right?
Yeah.
So if we have different other ways of learning, learning becomes interesting.
True. Yeah. If you can make it as interesting as this podcast, people are watching. I'm not sure how much time
I have
we
my
taken.
Genie in front of me. That's how it's becoming interesting.
I mean, we usually take somewhere around 2 hours or so. There are few podcasts that we that took us around 3 hours, over 3 hours, and people, fortunately, are people still watching. And then completely from the beginning till the end. And a few had reached out to us and said, you know what? Sometimes I go to bed with listening to this podcast.
Yes.
And I am pretty sure this is very insightful for every one of you there. So okay, now coming to the artificial intelligence. Last time when we came to your school, there was this group of students. If I'm not mistaken, they were in grade 7. if I'm not mistaken. So they have created this. If I'm not mistaken, it's an automated dustbin.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, how do you support, or how do you initiate these kind of inventions, or encourage these kind of innovations? And I'm not calling invention if they are inventions,
Yes.
but
Yes.
these, like you said, the activity based learning. So how do these develop into innovations and all these things that?
So this is the base of design thinking. When I spoke about robotic lab or the STEAM lab, so they work on circuits, they work on small robotic instruments, and children will be given. There is a curriculum for this. So this is called as a STEAM lab curriculum. So they'll start working with small circuits. They'll start working with Legos. They'll start building engines.
Do you have an age group to start?
Our STEAM lab starts from grade 1 and it goes on till grade 9.
Okay, all right. So as early as 6 to 7 years old.
Yes. So that is how design thinking works. You have to give them different options. You have to give them ideas and then allow them to build things. So when that time, materials are given and they have also been given tablets wherein they can look into different other technologies, they will build on their own ideas using their own thoughts. They'll start building things. That's how the design thinking has been helping our children, and we are just facilitators. It's not that our teachers are doing this. They're just facilitators. They will give them what is required, and I'm so proud to say that children of this generation know more than what we as adults know.
Right.
They know how to browse, they know how to find alternative technologies,
Right.
and they have done it. It's not we, it's the children who did it.
So the role of teachers is more like guiding them.
Yes, we are just facilitators.
Yeah. So coming to the teachers, I must say, because my wife is a teacher, I'm a little curious about the teachers' welfare. So how is the teachers' welfare being taken care of? Because I believe that if a teacher's welfare is being taken care of, then the rest is no problem.
Yes. So starting from transportation, if teachers want to avail transportation, it starts from there. We all, I think, in all these 4 years of me being in Meghalaya, night is the time I might have had food in at home. Otherwise, everything is being served in the school, with the hot breakfast or lunch or snacks.
Both
tea.
for students and teachers?
Yes, it's for teachers too.
Okay, all
So
right.
we all eat in school with the students. And instead of teaching, we learn from them. So it's a teaching and learning happening together.
Okay.
And then finally we'll have our snacks and then we go back home. So that's how. For us, BDW is a family. None of us are made to feel that we are employees, including me. And I think this is what is the culture which Sir Donish wanted to develop. I mean, if I have to speak about him, I need to have a separate podcast for this. I'm a big fan.
Interesting. I think we should get him on board sometime.
Yes. So he is a man who always says there's no hierarchy, there is no division as such. We all are a family. We all will sit together, we work together, we eat together, and then we'll go back home. And that's how we have created a family for ourselves, and we help each other to grow. And probably that's the reason none of us are made to feel that we have come from outside. Teachers who have come from outside also, they say, ma'am, we didn't know, because most of us who are not from Northeast have our own thought process and image about Northeast, right? So every one of us came with that. But the way we are welcomed, the warm welcome which was given to us, now we feel that I am sure I wouldn't go back to Bangalore, because this is how I feel. I feel at home.
Right.
And the nature, the space,
True,
cleanliness,
true.
hygiene. Oh my God. hygiene is a different aspect.
Because so speaking of the metro cities and all that, there is a lot of disconnection among people,
True.
even in a society.
True.
But having a school in such a location, such a region, I think it's again. I would love to see more these. Love to see these kids who have joined 4 years back to graduate and then
Yes.
take on the world and then be a testimony of what they've learned in the
Yes.
past. Interesting. So and how was your experience then over these 4 years working in such an environment?
It was a lot of challenges which we have faced, but thanks to the management, the teachers, parents, and the students who helped me out. There had been times wherein, the first year we didn't have the sports field because of the COVID situation.
right.
But our parents completely understood. They said, yes, ma'am, we understand. Because we wanted a certain turf material which is brought from Denmark. So we wanted a turf to be made in a certain way because, Chairman sir he's very particular about quality.
Do we have that turf now?
Yes, we have.
I have to go and see.
Yes. So it's the parental support, students, the way they adapted themselves from virtual classes to offline classes, and the management support, teachers, the way they supported. Though it is long hours, I have never seen my teachers having sad face. They're always active with the children. Even at the last that is 4 o'clock 30 minutes, even when the bell rings, I can still see the fresh face. So it's their effort. I was just there. I haven't done anything. It's the teachers, students, parents, and the management who did it.
The way that like I mentioned earlier, when the way I saw it, the school, first impression was this is a mall. Second impression, as I got in and then look around with the kind of structure and the interiors and everything that is being placed and set up, it's more like it's more like a community inside.
Yes.
So it's more like where we have all these what do you call those? I'm short for it, but these where you have these apartments and then have a small community of your own.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more like that. So the only thing missing, I think, maybe a literal mall or a shopping complex inside. Yet the kind of response and the kind of this interaction that we got from even from the students, it was kind of personal, so to say, because the way that we interact with them or the way that they ask questions, the kind of approach that even when we are from, so to say, outsiders.
Yes.
Because it was just a 1 day session when we came, but then we could see the quality in these students.
True.
Now speaking about students, yes, what I noticed that day was the uniforms of these students. It's a little different. Can you enlighten us?
So uniform, yes, the concept of uniform is to ensure that everybody feels equal. That is always there in any of the school.
Yeah.
But we have tracksuit so that children feel comfortable. If they want to sit down and do something, they should feel comfortable. If they want to run, they should feel comfortable. And of course, the temperature, which keeps on varying. For everything, it should be good.
Right.
So we have tracksuit. And there's one day wherein they'll wear their formal uniform.
Okay.
So
only
that-
one day in a
One day.
week.
Yeah, in a week. It's just one day in a week wherein they'll be wearing their formal uniform. The rest of the day, it is tracksuits. So that
Okay.
they feel more comfortable. Learning is basically when you're comfortable, you will be able to learn more. Otherwise, you will be concentrating more on the dress which you are wearing.
Right.
We keep it more comfortable.
So school days will be from Monday till Saturday or Friday?
Monday till Friday. But yeah, for few students who have never learned Hindi or if they need some help in the weekends, those students will be called for extra guidance. That'll be for few hours on Saturday. That is first Saturday and the third Saturday.
And then for conveyance, for students?
The transportation is
Is
given.
there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, a few months ago,
Mhm.
somebody had shared in one of the WhatsApp group about a TEDx talk in Shillong,
Yes.
and it was. I mean, fortunately, I had visited the school before that, so the moment I saw, I'm like, TEDx, okay, in Shillong, and that too, school children.
Yes.
And the moment I click on the link, it was BDW International.
Yes.
How? Okay, so can you tell us more about it? How did it all happen?
So, when I spoke about our children from nursery holding mic and
Yeah,
speaking,
right.
so TEDx is all about sharing new innovative thoughts,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So we wanted our children, and if I'm not wrong,
Mhm.
this is BDW International School is the first school
Mhm.
in Northeast who hosted a TEDx program.
Oh,
So children from class 4 spoke on the stage.
yeah, I saw.
They were TED Talks.
Few of them, I think. How many of them?
9 of them, and they all spoke.
I think the first video I saw of a girl.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's from which grade?
Class 4.
Class 4.
Yes.
My goodness! I when I was in class 4, I don't even know how a mic looks like.
Yes.
Forget about speaking on a mic. Okay, so and how did that all that happen? Was it?
So it was a conscious decision
Okay.
that we will bring in an international platform for our children so
Okay.
that they can showcase what is that they have learned and what are their innovative thoughts.
Mhm.
So now I'm also getting a thought that next year I have to invite you for the TED Talk.
Me?
Because you speak so
Of
well.
all the people. Come on, no.
No, you should actually teach us how do we do a podcast.
How to become a
Right?
social influencer.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my goodness! Oh, now you're making me nervous.
Probably next year I'll also have some followers.
Oh yeah, of course. You should actually. You should start. I mean, not you. Maybe your students.
Yeah, yes.
Should start
So
experimenting.
for
in
which
all these
we
things.
want you to be on TED Talk.
Oh my goodness! Please, I'm so embarrassed and nervous actually. Okay, let's see.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and how was the response?
So when we said TED Talk, I think the awareness about TED Talk was less.
All right.
But once they started understanding the importance of TED Talk, the platform, the international platform, there were many people who appreciated it, especially
right.
the way our children spoke.
True.
So to have a TED Talk, TEDx
Mhm.
at school, it has a lot of rules and regulations.
True.
It's not that anybody can host it. I remember sitting and filling up the forms for TEDx and for them to go through the forms and accept our request and then they set rules.
Mhm.
You believe it or not, how the stage should be, what should be the measurement of the stage, how do we put the light and where should the light be focused, where will the TED speaker stand, how is that they're going to speak, what will be the time limit, what angle are we recording. Everything has been technically specified by TED. And what are we speaking? If there is anything which is political, anything wherein you are speaking about religion, caste, race, all those things will have a red flag. Some of our ministers, they couldn't be on TED Talk because they have spoken which is politically, influencing. So it's that particular. They're very particular about what is being spoken because that's something which everybody on international platform would hear. And by God's grace, every talk, every child who spoke from our school, they were uploaded on the TEDx platform in the website.
So which means even after hosting or after organizing the show, they still have to take the decision whether it will be uploaded or not.
Yes. Not that everybody's talk will be uploaded. They are going to listen to each and every word which has been spoken. And then after scrutinizing understanding that they have spoken, which is original, not copied from anywhere, and they are not speaking, which might hurt sentiment of any part of the society. Only then it will be uploaded.
I'm sweating
Otherwise, there's
already.
always a red flag.
I'm sweating already. Yeah, but I mean, so technically, these 9 students, are now international speakers.
Yes, they are. And you will be one of them next year.
Oh my! Okay. All right. And the eldest is.
In class 8.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Technically, this is also an international platform.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, not as specific as what TEDx would require. I mean, they have those kind of scrutiny where every word, every movement, I'm sure.
Yes.
Every lighting, every camera work. So all these technicals you have to provide from your end.
Yes, we have to provide.
Oh.
And it has to be approved from TEDx. They have to approve this, and only then you will be able to host the program.
Oh my goodness.
I think it was IIM in Shillong who had hosted.
Yeah.
But in the
yes,
school
yes.
level, it is we.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because in IIM Shillong, I saw. But what inspired me most is because this is at the school level. And
Yes,
school
yes.
kids are doing this.
School kids are doing this.
Oh my. Oh my. My goodness. All right. Okay. Oh. That's a lot to take in. Okay. Now, speaking of international, I also saw a few pictures with Universal Pictures
Yes,
Studios.
yes.
Can you tell us more?
So that was an international school exchange program, which we had been. We had taken our children to Singapore.
All right.
So they visited Global Indian International School. And we wanted our children to have an exchange program, understand how they learn in their school, an experience of being in a different country and a different school. So that is what we thought of. And of course, we had recreation in Universal Studio. And that was a beautiful experience. Our children interacting. And the best part is the principal of the school, the teachers of the school, they said, we never thought children from Northeast would speak so well. I said, they speak better than any other children because they don't have inhibitions. They can ask anything, they can say anything.
Goodness, how many of them went?
I think the group was a small group, around 32 children. But it was the best interaction we had.
Yeah, was that the only time, or is it a regular
So we just
program now?
started with this year.
Okay.
Next year, this will be.
So it was just recently.
Recently, it just happened this year. So first year was COVID, we couldn't do it. Second year, our children were still settling.
Right.
This year we did, and henceforth, this will be the regular program.
Okay. Oh, nice. Why? Because the thing with the moment I saw that, it took me back to again my school days when we were in JNV again.
Did you go to Singapore?
Not Singapore. we went to Gaya of Bihar.
Okay.
And
And what was the learning?
That was another level of experience. So,
Bhojpuri Universal.
yeah. That was a Bhojpuri Universal. So, but I mean, okay. I must thank the government of India for initiating such a program. That also free of cost. But then the kind of exposure that we got back then, it was a tip of the iceberg because we couldn't take advantage of the program, and we wasted 1 year. So it wasn't just going there and then learn the culture and then come back for a week or two. We had to stay there a year long program. It was an exchange program. So students from other states come to our state and our students go to theirs. and we had to complete 1 year. So I completed my class 9 from Bihar.
Okay.
So technically, I'm a Bihar student. I was a Bihar student. All right. So and we stayed there. But unfortunately, like I said, we couldn't take that the full opportunity that we had back then, learning the culture and all that. Yes, we did learn in so many ways, but the main aim and the main purpose and objective of the program, that didn't we couldn't see that back then.
True.
Now it was like, okay, it was a bit fun and all that, but technically what what your school is doing, actually that should have been the way, that should have been the setup of going with learning the culture and all that. And I should also mention, not only in class 9, after after we returned, so the government introduced these exchange program, in international exchange programs, where a few of our students, selected students, just one or two from one institute, so they would go to these countries. One of them was Japan, and a few of them in the European countries. And that was a very short program.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
Correct.
that's just 1 week or two, and everything was borne by the government.
Okay.
But yet, apart from just just studying and being there in the campus, it is important for our students. It is important for everyone to actually to go out there. Of course, if there's a selection procedure, we had that. We were selected, the 7 of us, to go to Bihar,
Okay.
and then stay there and learn the culture and all that. And based on that selection, we were selected to learn the culture, stay there, and then also complete our class 9 there. So I feel like it is important for our students here, if not all, even just some, to get this kind of exposure of what it
Correct.
is like
Correct.
outside.
Yes.
And then them coming back, it can bring a lot of impact to the school and to that students community in the school. So having them represented a class, or represented maybe a house, if you have a house among students, I think that is something which is I feel like it is missing from the local schools here.
Correct.
We don't have those.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I haven't seen those kind of programs, at least from our school. I haven't heard, because these programs that we have had all this while, at least here locally, are just students visiting another school for, let's say, for exhibition programs, of all those small programs, apart from the excursions. So, but educational excursions, those are important, I feel.
Yes. Yes.
So, okay, now, speaking of these, the kind of opportunity and the kind of what you call these assistance that you provide to the students, is there any kind of assistance that you provide to at least special abled kids, or coming from different backgrounds of the society?
Yes. I think we are in an era wherein not all of us come from a joint family. We have nuclear families, we have broken families, we have single parents who are taking care, we have grandparents who are taking care of children, wherein parents have gone out to earn. So they will have emotional challenges. And that is where the special educators and the counselors help us out. There are children who would have attention deficiency. There are children who are having hyperactive disorders. There are children who would have issue in speech. So all these will be keenly observed, and our child psychologist and the special educators, they help them. So the therapy will be taken care. Of course, that depends on the severity level. If the cases are very severe, they would have the help from the psychiatrist and the psychologist from outside. So we get in touch with them through parents. We get to understand what are the exercises which they have mentioned. We also do this in school so that the child gets to have the same sort of exercises in the therapy which has been mentioned by the therapist of the hospital. So, as a professional from the school, we will also give the reports, the feedbacks of how the development is happening fortnight, weekly, depending on the severity. And this will be given to the doctors. And they will also try and help us out with the different other methods. And this is how, this is a complete cycle wherein a parent, a therapist, teacher, student, group of students, I see when the child has some sort of attention deficiency, the class also helps. So that's collaboration. So we have taught children how to help each other. So as a school, yes, we definitely help children who have challenges, who are specially abled.
So in this kind of a setup, excuse me. So in this kind of a setup of providing assistance to these students, I'm sure these students, there are students who would need an extra attention or an extra requirement or extra assistance for that matter. Speaking of fees, does that involve an extra compensation or extra fee maybe for that?
No, for all these factors, which is basically a part of education, we do not charge anything. But if there is a severe physical disability wherein we have to provide a separate caretaker, only then that caretaker, whatever is their salary, that will be partially shared by the parent.
Okay.
If the student is not even able to get up and go to the restroom, so we need a caretaker for the whole day. There is one individual caretaker with the child. So for such children, yes, we do charge. But apart from this, these are a part of the school. This is a part of education and development. So for other things, when I spoke about attention deficiency and all, there is no charges as such. We take it as our responsibility and we help the children.
So so for students now, coming to, let's say, the diet, since you are providing food and all that meal for students, how do you determine the diet of the students? Do you have
there is a dietitian who comes and she gives us a menu, and that has to be strictly followed because she comes and checks every time. So I have a box, we call it as the magic box, wherein my children would have dropped message, "Ma'am, I need Maggie, I need pasta, I need KFC." But the dietitian comes and says, "No, this is not a part of balanced diet." And she decides what should be the food and what should be the quantity, how it has to be prepared.
So which means students have the liberty to suggest.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but yeah, there are days, I think on Friday, we try and give the delicacies which they are looking into.
All right.
But it's the dietitian approved menu which we follow.
Ma'am, if you can also tell us about, let's say, a few coaching programs or maybe any competitive exams that you are, preparing these students.
Yes. So there's we are having the MSAT program, MSAT examination coming up on March 16th.
What is
It's
that?
Meghalaya Scholastic Aptitude Test. So I know, I can see.
I'm just like blank. It's just bounced my head. Okay.
So children from grade 8 and grade 9 from any school. So we will be having this examinations in 3 centers. One would be in Tura, one would be in Clariet, and one would be in Shillong.
All right.
Sorry if I have not pronounced Clariet properly. I had been
Clariet.
trying to.
Yeah,
Clariet.
it's
Okay. So there will be, the exams would happen in 3 centers. Now, why did we think of having this examination is, do you know what is the reservation? Have you heard of IIT and medical seats? I'm sure you would have heard. Do you know what is the part of reservation we have for tribal students?
I'm not sure. My cousin sister is in the medical school, and I'm
Okay.
Completely
So
blind.
there's 7.5% of reservation for tribal students,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
not availing it. In Northeast, we have 4,043 seats for NIT and IIT,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not being qualified for these examination because we are not channelized towards preparing for these examination. So Meghalaya Scholastic Aptitude Test
Mm-hmm.
is basically for children to have an exposure towards competitive examinations. So we have JEE, we have NEET, we have NATA, we have MET, we have CET. So that there are many more competitive examinations after grade 12. So they have to get an exposure to it. So that's why in the school level, we are doing MSAT program. And in order to encourage the children, child who would be getting the highest score will be getting a laptop. The second highest would be getting a tablet, and the third highest would be getting a smartphone. This is to encourage the children. But apart from this, getting an exposure to competitive examinations will actually open up they will find a path about what are the different examinations, how can we prepare for this.
Right.
Many of us, we don't even know how to mark in an OMR sheet.
True.
And how are we going to compete with other students? So in order to ensure that our children get this exposure, we are having this MSAT examination. This is free of cost registration. They can register. They can look into the social media page BDWIS Career Academy, and they can register. It's free of cost. They can write the examination, have an experience, and if they score well, they also have prizes.
Interesting. So, is this open to everyone who wants to?
Yes, it is for grade 9 and grade children.
Okay.
9 and 10, they can write this examination. It's a 1-hour paper with 30 questions. The scholastic basically means we have English, science, and maths questions. Basically, application based questions and skill based questions. So they will have an experience of writing a competitive examination.
True. Yeah. So the students now they'll be the first batch. I
Yes,
believe.
yes. So this is open for all children from Meghalaya. It's only for students from Meghalaya. They can take up this examination.
Okay. So this is from the school.
Yes, it is from the school. We thought that let us give, because school is a part of a society, and as a
Right.
society we have to give
back. So, yeah.
give back to the society. So this is one of the initiative taken from the school.
SAT. Oh, interesting. So which means how do students avail these or get in touch?
Yeah, one is they can call the school and they can register themselves.
All right.
Or else even in our social media pages, they can go to BDWS Career Academy
Okay.
and they can register. Just a click and we'll get a WhatsApp message and we can go ahead with the registration. So, or else the easiest way is call the school and we'll be able to help them out.
So when will this exam be?
It'll be conducted on
Tentatively.
16th of March.
This March.
Yes. So, yeah.
So can they still register?
Yes, till 15th of March they can register.
Class 9 and 10.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So which means you'll be having centers in these three.
In these 3 places, and they can register and they can come and write the examination.
Okay, 9 and 10.
And apart from that, in the same centers, we are also having free career counseling sessions happening.
All right.
So children who want to avail career counseling, they can come with their parents, and that's also. I spoke about the caliber test.
Yeah.
So that the caliber test will be made. That will also be free of cost. So they can come to these centers and they can take up the career counseling and choose what they want to be.
Well, when is that happening?
That's also happening on 16th of March.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it's like a one-stop thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not only for children who want to take up science, children who want to take up humanities or commerce, they also should understand what career they can choose. So we are having a free counseling session and we are also having MSAT examination on the same day.
Clear, Tura and Shillong.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Ngatrai pihak banis ngap bah ya kani na bata jong ki khna school jongi ki ba class 9 class 10 which means I think the when is matriculations over if I'm not
It's
mistaken, 15
different
for
boards,
MBOs.
it's a different time.
Yeah, I think for MBOs it's 15 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So ladade ba phi dep ek exam class exam matric lani pinakshong class 10 even the ongoing class 10 students also,
yes,
right?
yes.
But rukum jo ki class 9 phila ban veil ya kani ka yumo kani kerteng ke MSAT ta ke exam ke ba phila ban yele ke exam but phila ban yo ya kini ki khusnam ki bala mention ne te bat ka dei be thek na mata ki khna na meghalaya ki badan ki ba sa hangni but kindon lightly sentar hapo tura hapo cleariat ba Shillong ti manu kilaban apply, anyone can apply,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Pilaban I think I'll just
And
keep
it's completely free of cost.
oh yes, right, free from the company COEA, not even exam fee, anything.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, only maybe a bus charge.
Yes,
bus
to reach
fare,
the place.
to
That's
reach the
all.
place, yeah. So I think I'll just leave the contact details in the description.
Sure.
Sa phone sa reach out dia ki hapo de kini number pengan subo kenang mapila ban ni shimbenta hakani ka program mo. So apart from these programs that you have, you also mentioned about the class 11 and 12.
Yes.
Do we have students right now class 11?
So we are
12?
starting with class 11 now.
All right.
Now, when I spoke about 3 different streams, the subject combinations which we are giving is different. We're also having legal studies as one of the combination for commerce and humanities. We have applied mathematics. We have entrepreneurship and geography as different combination given so that it'll help from the routine PCMB and accounts and economics.
Yeah.
We want to bring in a different, because thanks to CBSE, they give a vast variation and combinations which we can
True.
make.
True.
So using that, we have brought in legal studies in grade 11.
Oh.
Yes, entrepreneurship and applied mathematics. Otherwise, mathematics is sometimes it becomes only theoretical. Applied mathematics is very interesting. And earlier, it is only the science students who can take up maths. Now, even in humanities, even in commerce, you can take up applied maths. So we have an interesting subject combination. If they visit the school, definitely we can speak about the combination.
It's more like a crisscross combination of streams.
Yes, and I envy the students of grade 11. I didn't have an option for this.
And I remember when I was in class 11, they had just introduced painting and PT.
Yes.
We called it physical education.
Physical education.
Yes. Physical education. So they had just introduced that. And then the only fascinating subject in class 11 apart from those is biotechnology.
Yes.
So that was the only thing, and that also biotechnology wasn't what do you call that? It was more like an additional subject. So it was not a compulsory subject.
Yes.
So if you want to take biotechnology, it will not be included in the board exams.
Yes.
So it's more like a supplementary subject kind of a thing. And yeah, I also envy these kids. Yeah.
Yes.
Goodness. All right. Now, if kids or if parents now if they want to apply for admission, how do they go? What's the admission process like?
So they can come to school directly. They can call up the school, and we have a basic criteria of filling up the registration form, and then assessment is done not to score the child, but to understand what is the level of understanding a child possesses at that given time. So based on that, the child will be assessed, and they'll be meeting me. I don't have interviews, but it's just a discussion with the child and understand. I get a lot of ideas when I speak to children rather than speaking to adults. So they'll say, in my previous school, this is what happened. I didn't like this. I want this in the school. So that's how I understand, what is that they're looking into. And we have a discussion, take admission, and the school starts. That's all.
Is there any capacity for students in
Yes,
each grade?
every class, it is one is the class strength is 30 children. So
Okay.
it is limited because we want to give that individual attention.
Right. Okay, so which means on each grade, how many students do you have section?
Yes, it's a 2-section school as on
Okay.
time. So per class, per section, it is 30 children. So per class, it is 60
60.
students.
I see. Yeah, that's manageable.
Yes.
Um,
And every class will have a class teacher and a co-class teacher.
mhm,
And we also have, in the second half, when I spoke about reinforcement and guidance,
mhm,
we have part-time teachers coming in. So apart from the regular teachers,
mhm.
there would be 7 to 8 part-time teachers who come and who will help the children for basic.
I see.
I have children who are learning Akshar in class 4 because till grade 3 they have never learned
Yeah,
Hindi.
right.
So for that we need a separate teacher who can teach the Akshar Abhyas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So in grade 4 also we have part-time teachers who will
Alright.
come and who will help children in the basics. So that's how we help children to get the good scores.
Ah, my goodness. There are so many things that I wanted to ask, but I feel like going to the campus, see it again, once again, take a tour of the campus, and then I'll have all these, specific questions to ask.
Yes.
So, but I feel fortunate to to see a school like this here in town. Actually, local people can have access to, because speaking of the kind of facilities that you provide, the kind of these extracurricular activities that that you make available to the students and also the parents, I'm sure.
Yes.
Is something that is beyond our imagination. As a local, I'm speaking as a
Yes.
local. So I mean, we would think of let's say a few schools, which I will not name names here. A few schools, elite schools, which we thought are elite schools, and thinking that getting our kids there for basic education would mean the world to us.
Yes,
And
yes.
they would pass and fly away like successful birds in the sky. But now, after speaking with you, I feel like there's a lot that these kids have been missing.
Yes.
Because I've seen, not that we've not tried as a family for our little ones to get admissions there. There are a few of my little cousins and brothers and sisters who actually have passed out from all these so-called elite institute, and not to demean them, but but somehow it makes me realize that that they've been missing out on a lot of
Yes,
things.
yes.
Maybe the institution is not in the capacity to do such such
True,
programs. Yet I feel it is important for institution and also the parents to
Yes.
look out for extra alternatives,
Correct.
for our students, for our kids, for our young ones to actually to be engaged, to be occupied with.
Correct.
Because if we don't take care of them now when they're young, again, like I said, it'll be very difficult to save them when they're
Absolutely.
older.
Yeah. So when I speak to parents and they speak about their experience in the previous schools and the present school,
Mhm.
one major aspect which every parent speaks about is having access to the school.
True.
We
Couldn't
don't
agree
know
more.
what is happening beyond
Right.
the gate. We don't know what is happening with our children.
Mhm.
Our children are, there are so many cases wherein the children are bullied, and the parents will get to know only when it reaches the extreme stage.
Right.
So
right.
we as a school are open.
Mhm.
There is an ERP system in the school wherein every day,
Mhm.
every class, every subject, what has been taught
Mhm.
and what the child has been learned will be updated on the system,
Mhm.
and every parent has a login ID to it.
Oh.
So they log in, they read through from morning till evening, what did my child learn. It has been updated and it's a data which they can hold it for the complete year, and they understand the learning curve. When I speak about assembly, I call parents to the assembly. I call parents for having lunch with us. I call parents to have breakfast with us. I need to share this experience. So there's one child in class 8 was not really interested in studies because he felt, anyways, I have been getting low marks and I might not be scoring well at all.
Mhm.
So one of our parent, who's a doctor in Nilgrims, every now and then I ask the parents to come and share their life experience in assembly.
Mhm.
So the parent was saying that I failed in class 12 and I thought the life would be ending. I did every wrong. I had all bad habits. I tried, experiencing different things. Then I got back, started studying. Now I'm head of the department in Nilgrims. So he shared his experience thanks to the parent. This child comes back to me and he says, "Ma'am, so I still have time. I can become a doctor." So it's the parental community who is helping us out to bring in a lot of changes and experience. This sports day, we had a lot of variety of sports for parents.
Oh.
So we had the competition between teachers and parents happening. So parents had prepared. They had their own T-shirts
Oh.
being printed.
Oh my goodness.
So they had a WhatsApp group. They selected who are the best players. So we had football team,
Interesting.
basketball team,
Interesting.
women team, men team.
So it's more like a week, a school
Yes,
week.
yes. So the involvement of parents, that is what is more
Right.
important. So they have access to every nook and corner of the school. We have not kept any place as a closed area. There are parents who have said that, "Ma'am, we want to taste the food." I invite them. I say, "Please come. We'll have a fixed up date. Come, have lunch with us, have dinner, have snacks with us." So they taste and they also gain the confidence. Oh, this is how children are eating. And after getting that experience, I should say the admissions has always increased because of the parents. They have gone out, they have shared their experience, they have brought in the admission. Otherwise, I don't think so. A school which was started in 2020, by now we are almost reaching around 400 students, is only because of our parents. Thanks to them.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, do you also have residential students? Or?
We would be starting soon. So this year our residential program is starting. So for grade 11, we are having a residential setup.
All right. So that'll be
So
in the
that's
school
for
campus.
separate boys and girls. Girls, we are already having it within the school campus. Boys, the construction is going on. But as on time, we have made a different setup for them. So the residential program will start from this academic year. That is
All right.
2024.
Okay. That is it Pinthor? Is it Yep? Oh,
It's Pintor.
It's Pintor,
Yeah, it's Pintor.
okay. Yes. So allow me to speak in Khasi.
Yes.
Nabanta jong ki babun let's say larde hipet nyadu mane play osngo pangbun ki ba ngila yakran do ne. Tika kani di school BDW International. If they are from Shillong, I'm pretty sure they must be aware, or maybe they must have noticed this huge building there. Nri namta jong kitu ibang patip kani school ka don hapo hangthie hajan desi kani kelinti banong ba lepia nya penthor terter kum tu nei shaban poi shaban poi nong mensong kelinti penthor na golf kum tu terter shaban poi sha nong mensong ka school ka don be shakaliang ka diang ka jonga kadi ka bahe ba building play into BDW International. So it's very easy to locate.
Yes.
Because it's also just beside the road.
Yes.
And I think the land is a little spacious for all the hostels and everything behind.
Yes.
Because I haven't seen.
Till now we had 4 acres of land. We are extending 4 more acres. So
goodness.
it's very spacious.
So you have a football field and all that
Everything. We already have a football field.
with Denmark turf.
Yes.
My goodness. Now I'm dying to see. All right.
Yes.
I think we have covered almost everything. Thanks to you, ma'am. I think if you want to know more about this institution regarding admission and everything, I'll just leave all the contact details here in the description below, where you can get in touch with ma'am here or the administration office
Yes.
so that you can also inquire all of these programs. Maybe I've not been able to ask all your questions, but if you still have some, you can actually go down and inquire and call these numbers and reach out to them. They have a website, they have an Instagram page, and also these numbers where you can get in touch and then get all your doubts cleared regarding even the fee structure, regarding all these things that I'm a little new to so many things here. I mean, I'll take some time to digest actually. Now, when I go home, I'll have to, to narrate all these things to my wife, and then she'll be asking me questions, and I think I'll just have to tell her to call the number.
Yes.
No, because she's a teacher herself, so it'll be very fascinating for
Yes.
her. So, toh perlu sehisian ada pikwa bantip kambun company as pangjo ni school pila ban call ni number hapo. Number ba kani school compare is very different from the other school that I have heard. Though I'm not from MBOS myself, I did my MBOS till class 6, and then I went to CBSE to this residential school. Yet again, because of my all my siblings completed from MBOS institutions, I could really see the difference. I'm not condoning or trying to pull down a boat here, but it's just that from my personal experience, because I'm a CBSE student, I could see there's a lot there's more room of when we talk about studying, when we talk about career choices, when we talk about the all-round development. Even back in the days when we were
Yes.
still in school,
Yes.
we had more opportunity of exploring the world, of getting exposure. Imagine in class 9, who would have thought a student from somewhere here in Northeast India would go to somewhere in Bihar and stay there
Correct.
for a year to learn their culture.
True,
Imagine.
true.
And not to forget a few of my friends who went up to Japan and to all these countries to again learn the culture. So I feel like CBSE is providing more ways, more opportunities to the students, and especially in an institution like yours,
Yes.
who also have all these programs which facilitate all these. I mean, all the students in various ways and means to actually develop them. Their not just their IQ, but also their overall personality.
Yes.
So, like I always said, when I have to convince my family or my relative to go to a boarding school or to a CBSE school, is that what, these schools may not give you a bright future, but they'll make your kids good citizens.
Yes.
So that is something which I've learned personally.
Yes.
So if you're thinking of planning to send your students, why students, your children
Yeah.
to a CBS school, maybe this is one which you can consider, because after all these things that I've heard today, I think we'll have to start planning
Yes.
for my kid also. But let's see. But anyway, if you want to know more about it, again, go to these contact details below. Call them and get in touch, or maybe visit the school.
Yes.
Yeah, because they are open if you want to have a taste of their meal also. I
Yes,
think
yes.
Madam here is generous enough to to take you for lunch, at least in the school campus. But yet again, thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am,
you
for
so
that
much.
insightful session. It's like, my goodness, I envy these kids. I envy these kids. I mean, where was this institution when I was a kid? My goodness. But I'm pretty sure these kids. I think they're in class 9 right now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure when they graduate, let's say class 10 or 11 or 12, if they continue, there will be more opportunities. There will be more, equipped to face the world and take on anything, any course, any place that they would want to visit or go
Yes.
to studies.
Yes.
So all the best, guys. All the best. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful experience. I think an experience of a lifetime.
Thank you, thank
Absolutely.
you.
You made me feel so comfortable. Thank you so much. It was a great learning for me.
Yes, but it is for me and especially for our viewers here.
Thank you so much.
For viewers, I think most of our viewers would not be actually, familiar with this, with the campus and all what you offer, if not for this conversation that you are giving now. And I must thank the viewers also who are watching till now,
Yes.
over 1 hour. But again, if you want to see more of such discussion in terms of academics and out of the box kind of discussion, you can also suggest down in the comment section. We will be happy to bring on board people from various fields to actually to have a discussion like this. And I'm very fortunate. I feel so fortunate to have ma'am here with us.
Same here. Thank
The
you so
principal
much.
of BDW International School. Wow. Such an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you so
ma'am.
much.
Well, okay, I think we will end with this, ma'am. Over the past few years, I believe you are also in other institutions before BDW. What is your message to the parents? You've been dealing with your with the kids. You've been dealing with these students from various walks of life, coming from various walks of life, from different backgrounds. Like you said, broken families, and so many things. Not just here in BDW, but also from outside where you have come from. What is your message to our parents, to these guardians back at home? Though if they're not from BDW also, but parents in general when it comes to students.
I think I, as an educationist, with the experience which I have had with children, my only suggestion or request to the parents is allow the child to be a child. Do not expect the child to be an adult, and don't kill the happiness which they need in their childhood. That's the only suggestion I give. Let the child be the child. Today, when you spoke to me, you never asked me what is your 10th score, ma'am. Do you remember what did you score in 8th? Math?
I don't.
You don't. Neither do I remember. None of us would remember. You'll only remember how was I as a human being. And I would always remember how were you as a human being.
Right.
And that is to your parents who gave you a happy childhood. And that's what we have to give children. It's not that it's only engineers and doctors who are going to live in this world. Right? So every one of us have opportunities. I mean, the best example is our chairman, sir. He never got into school. He never had an opportunity to go to school. But today, he has built an empire and he is giving education to all the students and all of us, helping us to have my children, to run my family. So he is doing it without going to school. So he always says it's the attitude which has to be developed and it's not the score. Do not concentrate on the score. Every child, they have their own turning points and they will do it. They will do it. Just by forcing or killing their childhood, we are not going to bring in good score. And if the child is not a happy child, he or she will never be an happy adult. So that's what I believe.
That hit me hard. I mean, being a parent myself,
Yes.
that is something that we all need to accept. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is.
Don't touch the wall. Don't draw on the wall. Why are you touching the water? That's a dirty water. Don't touch the mud. Why are you standing like this? Why are you sitting like this? Don't poke your nose. Don't stare. Don't smile. What are we doing with the kids? We want them to be robots. And then once they grow up, we want them to be innovative and creative. How would that happen? Let them explore. Let them be children. Let them do whatever they want in their life. After all, at the end of the day, it's limited period of lifespan and we all will enjoy life.
Provided in a controlled environment.
Yes.
Nice. That was a good one. That was a good one. It hit me hard. Oh. Anyway, okay. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
ma'am.
so much.
And I must say that the viewers are enjoying this conversation. And please drop a like or a comment for ma'am here. She's here just 4 years, but I'm pretty sure the experiences and the kind of exposure that she's had with the students here.
Yes.
It's, I think,
It's amazing. I have learnt a lot.
right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Once
Thank you
again.
so much.
Yes.
I just want to have a pic.